Okay, hello everybody. First day of school. So I always like to record my lessons so that way if you need to go back and watch the lesson and try and relearn or have mom and dad help you, then you can do this. So today, the date was August 30th, first day of school, and what we talked about was solving one-step equations. Okay, I'm going to underline that and highlight that. Well, it's been a while since we've had 8th grade math, and one of the standards in 8th grade math was solving one-step equations. So it's very important that you try and solve your equations the way I do, because eventually the equations become big, and having an algorithm or some kind of a strategy to solve an equation is very helpful. So please try and do it the way I'm going to teach it to you. It'll make it so much easier for you. So let's start off. First of all, example 1. We want to solve some number. Solve some number n plus 5 equals 8. Okay, so it really says some number plus 5 equals 8. Now, of course, everybody's going to say, well, the answer is 3. Of course, 3 plus 5 equals 8. So the number we're looking for has to be 8. But I want you to do this. We're going to solve it, and you need to show your work. We are going to undo it. We're going to do the opposite. We're always going to do the opposite. For instance, the opposite of add. But we're going to do it to both sides. Okay, so technically, an equation has two sides. Where the equal signs is, you have the problem and you have the answer. So this is like the balance point. So if I do the opposite to both sides, how does that work? Well, the opposite of a number plus 5, to get rid of a plus 5 or positive 5, we just subtract 5. We subtract 5. And the reason we do that is because the 5 is gone. 5 minus 5 is gone. All that's left is the variable n equals, and of course on the answer side we've got an 8, subtract 5 is 3. That is how I want you to do it. So my answer is just n equals 3. Okay, so again, I want you to show this work. Let's look at example 2. Again, you can pause the video anytime you want. I'm just going to go through the lesson. Example 2, we have a negative 4 equals x minus 6. Now, x is just an unknown number. We like x because x goes along with the x-axis, so that's why x pops up a lot. But it's still the same as n. It's just a number. So I see two parts of my equation going through the equal sign, and I want to do the opposite. Now, even though the x is on this side, we're still going to do the opposite to the 6. This is x subtract 6. Subtract 6. So I'm going to do the opposite of subtract 6. I just add 6. And I come over to this side, and I add 6. Well, the reason that works is because negative 6 plus 6 cancels. All I have is x equals negative 4 plus 6 is 2. That's my answer. Okay, always do the opposite. It says subtract 6 with plus 6. Okay, example 3. Example 3 is a little bit different. I have 4x equals 20. Well, there's an invisible time sign. Anytime you have a number and a variable next to each other, it means times. There's an invisible time sign here you just don't see. So always do the opposite. The opposite of 4 times is going to be 4 divide. So I want you to do it like this. Divide by 4. Oops, let's use the other color. Divide by 4, because 4 divided by 4, you always do the opposite. It cancels it out. 4 divided by 4 is just a 1 or a 1x, but you have to do that to both sides. So divide by 4 here. 20 divided by 4 is going to be 5, so I get x equals 5. Always do the opposite twice. It was 4x, so I did the opposite. Divide by 4, x is equal to 5. Okay, example 4 is x divided by 2 equals 8. X is just a number. Now I'm going to rewrite this. I like to rewrite it like this. You see, this is a divide by sign. X divided by 2 equals 8. Okay, I like to rewrite it, so I'm going to rewrite the equation. Okay. All right, again, always do the opposite. The opposite of divide by 2 is to times it by 2. So I'm going to take a 2. I'm going to go and multiply it by 2 like this. Times it by 2. And do it to both sides. Times by 2 here. Okay. The reason I do the opposite, divide by 2, is multiply by 2, because 2 over 2, 2 divided by 2 is a 1x. 2 over 2 is a 1x. And 8 times 2 is 16. Or a number divided by 2 is 8. Well, it's got to be 16. Okay, let's take a look at example 5. Now, example 5 is a little trickier. I have a fraction. 3/5 x equals 9. All right, so if I have a fraction, I'm going to undo it. For me, the opposite of a fraction, of this fraction, is to do its reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply it by, not 3 over 5, but the reciprocal, 5 over 3. Always the opposite. Doing the reciprocal. That's the upside down. So always do that to both sides. Now the reason this works, watch. 5 over 5 cancels. 3 over 3 cancels. Okay. Now I have to do that to the other side. Multiply this side also by 5 over 3. And then I know, cancel, 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 cancel. Let me back up. I'm sorry. Multiply by the reciprocal. So I cancel 3, cancel 5, so I'm just left with an x. But the answer is 9 times 5, which is 45, divided by 3. 9 times 5 is 45, divided by 3. X is 15. Okay, that's all I have. Your homework was a worksheet. The worksheet was lesson 0-1. I'll show you. And it looks like this. So hopefully you guys can get the answer to all that, and we'll look at that tomorrow. Okay, that's all I have. Please do your homework. We'll look at it tomorrow in class.